Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of Tori Talk. I am here with Keisha Bradley, the CEO of PR Alliance and the founder of PRocon.
Yes.
You guys know that I have attended PRocon. I've covered PRocon. It's a wonderful experience.
Thank you.
So I want to thank you for coming on
Thank you.
today.
Yes, I'm excited to be here.
And today, as you guys can see, we are in the lounge. So this is what this
ma'am.
segment is going to be about. As usual, we are going to have general talk. We're going to talk about some actually very important things. I reached out to Keisha and you so graciously accepted immediately after I asked, so I appreciate it. Because today we're talking about serious business.
Come on.
Very serious topic.
Let's do it.
Story time. Who got the tea? Who got the tea? Yeah. Story time. Who got the tea? She got the tea. Yeah. Anything you need to know. Story time. Just tune into the show. Story time. Story time. Story time. Story time. Story time. Story.
As you all know, last year in 2025, there were record numbers of Black women out of the workforce.
Yep.
Absolutely insane. I can literally say, there was never a time that we've ever experienced, at least for Black women. Since we've been in the workforce, there has never been a time that many Black women have been out of the workforce. And it was across many different jobs.
Industries.
Yeah, industries. Yeah, it wasn't just like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, the government, and, we feel that here because we work, in Washington, D.C. and DMV area.
Yeah.
But it was across, like you said, many industries.
Absolutely.
And you were so brave, and you put on social media that you were fired.
Yeah. Well, laid off.
Laid off, excuse me. I was like, Lord, because I don't want to be like, Angel.
I've been fired before, but not this time. Not this time, Lord, thank you.
Laid off. And you were so, like I said, so courageous and so real to share that with people on social media. And I found it to be absolutely amazing because a lot of times we share our wins, but very rarely do we share, when things are not going the way we want.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about that.
Let's do it.
What happened? Tell me the month. Tell me when you did you wake up? Like, was it a text call? Like, what happened?
Yeah, so I was working for a pretty small communications agency. I say small, we're small businesses, but they had about 150 employees. Small for them, bigger for us.
Yeah.
And I've been working there for about 6 years remotely, doing an excellent job, was on the leadership team in communications. And I loved my job. It was flexible, allowed me to also live out my passions through PRocon, do the work that I do at TPRA. And I saw layoffs happening consistently, I would say, over maybe the course of 2 years. But because of the role that I held, I was like, I'm too valuable. They're not going to get rid of me, right?
They know better.
Right? I'm like, what they going to do, right? I'm like, what they going to do without me? So, you have that mindset, but as a business, when you have no choice, you have to make very difficult decisions. And so when it came to, 2025, the top of 2025, they realized that their business was seeing like a lot of pivots. And I'll say that because of the new administration was focusing on things that they, or was not focusing on, I should say, things that they served, right?
Okay.
So underserved communities and projects that they just weren't, this new administration was like, it's not a priority. This particular company, government contracted. And so if the government is saying these are no longer priorities, a lot of their contracts were dwindling. Typically in this agency, what they do is like, say you're not on that one contract closes. They try to find another contract for you to get on. They support hundreds of contracts most of the time. This time they were getting hit so bad that they did not have anywhere to put someone else. That happened to me. So they were like, hey, I'm going to put you on this project. That project ended. Hey, I'm going to put you on this project. Project ended. And unfortunately for that business, they had to lay off a number of people. What I am gracious about is that for some people over the course of the couple of years, they weren't able to give them as much notice. Yeah. For me, I believe it was August that they told me that I would be laid off, but I wasn't actually laid off until October. So while that's still kind of quick. It's not 2 weeks. It's not even a month. It's, you know, a little over a month to be able to help me get my bearings. And so I really was grateful for that, because I was able to apply for jobs in the meantime. I got married during that time.
I was gonna mention it. Don't be scooping me.
Listen.
That's the next question I was gonna talk
my
about.
bad. Well, if you can like put yourself in my shoes, I'm getting this notice in August.
Yeah.
My wedding is September 14th, and I'm like, who not about to have a job? Because this wedding is expensive. Who not about to have a job? So, I mean, I think it would have hit me in a crazy way regardless, but just the time period that I was in, I was like, no, this is some crazy stuff, right? So, I did debate if I wanted to share that with the community, only because, I mean, there was so much of it, as you alluded to. There was so much of it, like so much of everyone saying like, we're out of jobs, we're out of jobs, we're out of jobs. I really didn't want them to get discouraged by like, okay, she's the founder of a community that is literally focused on helping communications professionals thrive. And she done lost her job too. So we really out here. What we finna do? I didn't want people to feel that. But at the same time, I'm like, this is a great opportunity to show people that the playing field is even. Yeah. Whether you have a brand, a business, a 9-to-5, like right now we're all feeling it. And so I thought it was an opportunity to be like, hey, you know, I'm meeting you guys where y'all are. Y'all looking for jobs? I'm looking for a job too. So we in this together. And I think that was the beauty of it. The beauty of it was I'm not just helping my community get what they need. I now need what they need. And so now we can all really act as a community, and I can pour into you guys while you do the same for us, right? So it was a beautiful experience, even if it was like an unfortunate experience. Yeah.
And that was like what you mentioned when I was really going to talk to next, because as you know, I said, oh, you're engaged. I have a story to tell you about that later. But this is not for y'all. That's personally for you.
Okay, camera's cut.
Yeah, I was like, the camera's off. But congratulations.
Thank you.
On your marriage.
Thank you so much.
You look absolutely beautiful.
Thank
your wedding
you.
looks so stunning.
Thank
it looks
you.
so fun. I hope
Thank
it was
you.
everything
Oh, it was
you
amazing.
wanted it to be.
Absolutely.
Especially with that happening.
Girl.
And when I saw that, my first thing I thought was like, oh my God, she's getting married.
Yes.
Like my brain was like, wait, she's had a wedding to plan.
Yes.
And then you were also promoting PRocon.
Yes.
So you have a wedding, you have PRocon coming. Wasn't that like similar time? Like how were you able to kind of like make all of that happen?
Glory be to God. Because honestly, when I look back, I'm just like, if I could do it all over again, would I have done it in that way? Like so PRocon was August 30th, and then my wedding was 16 days after, September 14th. Like having that so close was crazy. Not to mention we were in the process of selling a house, buying a house. I mean, we were doing a lot
of things.
We were doing a lot. And I always am the person that's like, we don't got to be in all seasons at the same time, right? Yeah. But I was in all seasons at the same time. And if I had to go back, I probably would layer it a little differently. But it did show me how God's strength kind of comes through. Like, you think you exercising in your own strength, there's no way. I'll be passed out, okay? So God definitely came through with that. I would say what I enjoyed about the process was because I was going through wedding planning and planning a conference while being laid off and all of those things, I enjoyed seeing the community really like show up for PRocon specifically, because there were areas that I couldn't be as hands-on. And our board, I mean, they really was like, we know the community, we got the community. Where there are gaps, we will fill in. So, I mean, kudos to the PRocon board. They're just phenomenal. And kudos to the PRocon community in general, because there were a lot of things that I would say we did in previous years a little better. That this year I felt like we have some improvement to do, but we're going to iron it out for year 5. This was just like a really tough year to get it done. Yeah.
And I think let's talk about like mentally and emotionally, right? Because as you said, every time you got on social media, that's what you were saying. And then beyond just, okay, this is, what's happening out in the world, personally, almost every phone call, me personally, family members, friends, like every conversation is, oh my goodness. I've had a job since I was 19 years old or something like that. Like I have never not been working. And for that very first time, it was the time for me to say, this is no longer in my control. And I think that
Yeah.
was the part for me that was the scariest.
Oh, for sure.
Because it's like one thing if you're like, man, fuck this job. I'm
yeah,
gonna take a new job.
yeah, right.
It's another thing where you are perfectly happy, perfectly stable, and
Yep.
ready to stay. And then there's an other outside, thing happening and you can't control it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, did you experience that? Because it was, well, it still is, honestly, but it was plaguing me. And I think at that time it was plaguing, like, everyone.
Yeah, I think relinquishing control is one of the things that, as a business owner, as a founder in general, but also someone who is having a 9-to-5 and all these things, it's really hard to do regardless. We are creatives and we feel like we do own our creativity, but, passing that on to someone else or, because I'm just giving examples of other ways you try to relinquish control and it's hard, right? Yeah. Passing a responsibility to somebody else or being like, okay, this didn't work out. It's okay. We're going to, move on. We have a hard time doing that because everything that we do, we take pride in. We want to do it with excellence, and we hold it all so close. And I would say our 9-to-5s included, our stability include. All of those things. So it was definitely really hard. But that's where I learned relinquishing control the most. To your point, it's like, what do you do when you can't do anything at all?
Yeah.
Right? And so you sit and you ask God to give me the strength, give me the grace, give me the resources, give me the community, and He gave all those things. So that's a testimony at the end of it.
That really, when you really think about it, it's like, what can you say? Like, what can you do? When something is really out of your control, you kind of have to, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, let things happen. And that was like one of the things that I want to discuss too. Mm-hmm. Like, so we are on the other side of it, hopefully. But we're still, like I said, we're in a space where some of these people who have now been laid off from their positions might not have found new positions. They're still, like, looking. Do you feel that this kind of shakeup, right, was absolutely detrimental for us as Black women in our, working field in our community? Or do you think it, like, proposed an opportunity?
That's a good question. Number one, I want to go back to when we talk about control, because while we relinquish control in other areas, we do have to have an understanding that we can control the controllables. Yeah. And so while we can't focus on the things we can't control, it's like, what do you do when you can't do anything in this area, but you can do something about this, right? So I don't want to negate the fact that there are controllables that we have power over, and we just have to remind ourselves we have that power. But do I think this was detrimental or an opportunity? I see everything as an opportunity. When I lost my job, of course, like, I was like, Lord, what am I gonna do? Yeah. But at the same time, it was an opportunity for me to reevaluate where I was in the first place. I loved my job, but I will say I was very comfortable at that job. Yeah. So being able to now have an opportunity to say, well, now I can try to find a job that can challenge me a little more, because I want to strengthen this skill of communications. I never want to feel like I'm 15 plus years in and I know everything. I want to strengthen that skill or other skills that complement it. So I was like, this is an opportunity for me. When it came to even the fact of, like, behind the scenes, what people don't know is, I was like, I don't know how we paying for PRocon. I don't even know what that looks like, because a lot of times wherever there's financial gaps for PRocon, I'm filling them with the job that I have. But if I don't have the job, what we filling them with, right? So
here's the air.
Right. And I said to myself, like, it could have been detrimental to PRocon. I could have been like, okay, well, we're not going to be able to have any of this or any of that. And, oh, by the way, we always have a full buffet food. We can't even have. I could make it detrimental, or I could say this is an opportunity to allow the community to show up too. Because here's what a community is. It's not a one-way street. Yeah. So when we say we're cultivating community, this means we pour into y'all and y'all can pour right back in skills, resources, who you know that we don't, right? And so that's what I allow. We started emailing folks like, okay, who you know to fit the puzzle for this, because we need to serve the community in this way, but we don't necessarily have that resource. And they showed up to the table. I think it also for us looked like an opportunity to say our ticket prices were $100+, but like, listen, you just got laid off. Everybody getting laid off. Yeah. This is an opportunity for us to show the community, like, let's $50 tickets. And if you don't have that, we always say, like, if you didn't have that, email us. Let's see what we can do. This was an opportunity for us to show that we really were about community and not just a conference looking for a money grab. Because, oh, by the way, we haven't made $1 yet, right? Yeah. And so, but this is an opportunity to really show our heart posture. So I look at everything as an opportunity. And I think for Black women in the workforce, when you really evaluate and self-reflect on where you are, you can find the pockets of opportunity for you. Yeah. Maybe it's, I have a business and, you know, I always had a 9-to-5. I got laid off, but guess what? This is my opportunity to now put 85% into my business and the other percentage into looking for a job versus like now I before I had to do 40% for my business and what is it? 60%. I ain't good at numbers. I'm good at words.
We are communication people.
60% to my 9-to-5, right? So now it's an opportunity for you to say, I normally wouldn't have this. Yeah. So let me see how I can do it. I look at everything as an opportunity.
And I think that's amazing too, because what you touched on, I do feel, and that was the conversation that I had with my fiance often, but even more so, I feel like during that time, it kind of ramped up because my brain was saying, okay, I can apply for a job. I applied for a job, got a job, still ain't been hired for said job. That's what's going on right now with the workforce in some fields. So I was just like, but I got it. Like, I killed it. I got it in like a day.
Yeah.
Still have not gotten that job, right?
Yeah.
But thankfully and luckily, I did not get laid off from my current job, the one I was very worried about.
Yeah.
But I constantly had talks like, okay, do I go? Do I look for another corporate type of, job? Or do I now say, hey, I have multiple different things that I already do. I have an events business. I have this. I have refined taste. I have all these different avenues that I have cultivated for myself that I have to do in when I can, small amounts. This was if I end up being unemployed, then I can really go full into my business, and I had never had that opportunity before.
Yeah.
Is that immediately when you feel like your brain went, even though obviously you were blessed to, get another position, but
I think, I think surprisingly, no. Surprisingly, I was like, I still want to get another 9-to-5. And I think it's because I'm also thinking about a lot of goals and things that I have for the future, buying another home and all of the things that me and my husband have, that I was like, I still want to take the opportunity to have the stability while building, because as I mentioned before, PRocon is not profitable at the moment.
Right.
And with clients, they fluctuate, right? And so right now, I'm like, it's really smart for me and my growing family for me to still have that stability. I don't think either direction is wrong. I think the beautiful part about kind of getting at a crossroad is that you can go left, you can go right, you can go straight. It's so much opportunity in the crossroad, right?
Yeah.
You can pick a lane, and if you don't like that lane, you can choose another one again. And so
you can always pivot.
Yeah, and a lot of times people feel like they're starting at ground zero, but the great thing about starting at ground zero is well, baby, all we got to do is build from here. So pick a ground zero and let's just move with it. So I chose my ground zero to be no, I'm going to find another job. But strategically, because I knew I was in government work, I did not want to be in government work anymore. And so I transitioned into what everyone saw was McCormick online on my LinkedIn. And so now I'm really talking more about innovation and sustainability and all of those things that I really do love. So,
well, that is amazing. Yeah. And congratulations for that. And it's when you think about it, it's man, do you think that you would have made that shift if that didn't happen? Like you said, you were comfortable.
Yeah.
And now you're in something that you love to do. You're out of a place you probably thought, okay, I did love and enjoy what I was doing, but now I have a new opportunity.
Yeah, no, I don't think I would have done it. Yeah. I don't think I would have done it because, to your point, I was comfortable. And so I love that now I'm out of my comfort zone. I am supporting a business that I have a lot to learn from while I still have a lot to contribute. So I like to be challenged. I think we should all be searching for a place to be challenged. Not to say that business ownership ain't challenging enough. So if that's what you're doing, I don't think you need to add a layer of challenge. Yeah. However, I knew that was the best fit for me and kind of my goals. But I did want to be at least challenged in that area as well.
Now, I do want to, before we get a little deeper into the businesses that you do have, I want to talk to you a little about this husband of yours. Husband, heavy on the husband. Y'all.
Okay.
when all of these different things are happening, right? And even for me, when I'm stressing and thinking like, damn, what if I don't have a job, right? Can you speak on how it was with your then fiance having these conversations and whatever he did and said in support? Because with mine, I came home like, babe, I want no job. What you gonna do? He was like, we'll be good.
Yeah.
And it was just that like,
Yeah.
we're gonna be okay. He's like, we'll be okay. Like, we ain't gonna be okay forever.
Yeah.
But like the I got you
Yeah.
moment, I think made it all like, okay.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, I'm gonna be fine.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine you had a similar experience with your
Absolutely.
fiance. So let's talk about that.
To know that you have partnership, like to know that you have someone that's like in the highs and the lows, we're going to figure this out, right? There's such beauty in that. And so, you know, like you described, he was like, we're going to be okay. Now see the way I am. In my mind, like when he says things like, it's going to be fine, I'm like, how it's going to be fine? And when it's going to be fine? And what direction it's going to be fine in? But that's the control part of me. I'm like, well, it ain't going to be fine unless we make it fine. Who's going to make it fine? Like, so, I mean, it's that part of me, but he is very calming and comforting. As y'all can imagine, he's at all the PRocon events doing whatever he needs to do. He was serving food one year. Okay, whatever he needs to do. So he had that same mentality. Like, whatever I need to do to step in. So, yes, bills were definitely on all the way on his end. Normally, I help with something here or there, and one no here or no there. I ain't have it. So, so definitely he my biggest support system.
That is just so nice. And I love to hear it, especially because it's like things like this are like true testaments that sometimes, you know, we can talk to our parents and we can talk to, you know, folks. But I say this sometimes when I talk to my mother, like, you know, things that are happening now, though they experience like certain things like, well, back in my day, and this is, what's happening now is very different. Even they can attest to anything that they've ever experienced.
Yes.
Like, you go talk to any person, even sometimes 45 up, but let's say 50 up, and you tell them that you work in the federal government or you work in some of these fields, and don't you leave your job? That's a great job.
Sure.
You gonna retire from that job? Don't you mess that money up?
Until they shutting governments down for months on end, and I ain't got nothing to show for my coins.
And then you call them, they like, this is ridiculous.
You know what I couldn't believe?
Ridiculous.
I could not believe that there were literally people that had to go into work without getting paid. Actually, I didn't know it was a thing. I'm like, maybe I'm behind the times, but I did not know. I thought it was either like you were at home until this got rectified, and that was it. Like, or you went in and you were still paid. I did not know some people had to go in without pay because. You probably got the wrong one in me. You probably got the wrong one in me.
Folks who have that job where they are essential, as they are called,
without pay. I'm like, y'all got to find something from somewhere. I'm coming in here.
Which is why I think when I saw so much stuff on social media, for me, it was just like, when they were like, go and thank those people at the TSA, like truly.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, they already have a job that's hard enough dealing with us. But it's like, can you imagine people who have to go and do that? And it's like a testament to the people that you have working in this country, truly. I mean, because like you said, I'm sick. I'm going to be sick for how long we out?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You got the wrong one in me. So the people that are actually doing that work, I mean, honestly, there's a different level of strength and admiration for what they do that is just so admirable. Like, it's just crazy.
Yeah. It was like, I mean, and that was something that I think, like I said, you've seen a government shutdown or whatever. You've seen that happen. But I think like, just with some of the things that are happening now, just overall, especially in the workforce, I don't think that any of our parents could have prepared us for that, because I don't think that they thought it could happen.
Yeah.
Especially not in the way that it did.
Exactly.
So it's like, okay, y'all. Well, y'all can't really advise me. So now we're like moving through this new space, you know, kind of all together as a collective. And it was tough. It was a tough time. So I think it's like, just so exceptional for anyone who's able to, like, you know, like make a way out of no way, make a space, and like, again, blessed that you were able to, like, you know, come out of that and then continue, right? Because you have, like we said, we have the PR Alliance and we have PRocon. Okay, fine. This happened this year, but these things were already in place long before this change in the workforce.
Yeah.
Can you discuss PRocon, PR Alliance, whichever one you want to start with, where it came from, the idea, how you grew that business, where it's at today, where do you want it to go?
Yeah.
Let's talk.
I'll start with the PR Alliance. So many people don't know this, but I started in news writing and reporting. And then about a year or two in that, I discovered the field of PR, and that was not a field that was like in college talked about. So I literally discovered it on Google search, like, if I have these skills, what are the fields that would be good for me? And public relations came down, and I was like, what is that? Like, literally, it's not taught it wasn't taught in my college. And so once I did discover that field, I started trying to find people that were in that field and, you know, kind of ask for mentorship or can I shadow you and all those types of things. And once I did that, I realized, wow, the beauty, because, you know, if I back up a little bit, in the midst of me trying to find mentorship in public relations, I was still in communications at corporate companies. And then I realized, like, oh, wow, I could literally be the communications engines behind these small businesses. Like, so the work that I do for these large businesses, there's a space carved out for me to do this for a small business and to amplify them just like we amplify these large businesses. Sign me up. So that was me being like, okay, now I do want to start the PR Alliance. And once I started it, it was like, at first we were supporting entertainment clients, then we added in small business clients, and we've grown from there. And so now we're on 9 years. So next year will be 10 years, which is amazing. We've had a lot of pivots and hurdles along the way, but what I realized is while I was building the PR Alliance, I would have a lot of people that come to me like, I want to get into public relations. How did you get into public relations? So there was a lot of questions, and I thought like, you researched this field, which means like this wasn't something that was always talked about or communicated, which means that there's a barrier to entry into these fields, right? So whether it's public relations, marketing, media, communications, I feel like a lot of people are asking themselves like, how do I get in? What is the path to get in? And I was like, kind of asking other PR professionals, like, has it been on your spirit to have a conference or a community to help people kind of grow in these fields? And they would say yes, but not that burning in your belly fire yes, right? I had that yes in my stomach, and I was like, whether other people have that burning yes, I know I do, so I have to do it. So it took me a while because I'm sitting here trying to find other people that want to join and align with me.
Alliance means
okay.
more than one.
I'm trying to find people, and they're like, yeah, that'll be cool, you know, but cool is not what I felt. And so once I really decided to do this in 2020, I realized how fast everyone gravitated to it because they were like, yeah, that's it. Like, I knew that I wanted to find a space where I could grow in these fields, and you created that. And so 2022 was kind of like our launching pad. We only had like 100 attendees, which is, I think is still great for year one. So we had 100 attendees, and it was kind of my like pilot of like, let me see, y'all say y'all want this. Let me see how much y'all really want this. Do y'all show up? And they did. And so I was like, okay, we have to keep this going because there's a need there. All the way fast forward to this past year of 2025, when I talk about needs, I really am looking at the needs of the community at that time. So a lot of times people come to us a year in advance, right? So people came to us a year ago talking about 2026, and I'm like, I don't know yet what I want to do for 2026, because what I do is I evaluate for real the needs of the community, and then I say, oh yeah, this is what we need to do. So that's why people would find in 2025, for the first time, we had organizations like LSG, we had organizations like Edelman, we had organizations like Fleischman Hillard on site to say, hey, send me your resume. Let me look over your resume. Let me tell you about our job opportunities, because that was me and our board looking at the needs of the community at the time. That was the first year, as you can imagine, because 2025 was a pivotal year for job loss. So when I say like we really are for community, I am skimming the needs of the community, and you'll see in year 5 we're doing something crazy where I've skimmed the needs of the community and said, okay, we need to give them that. So I mean, TPRA turned into something of like, hey, I want to serve businesses. And out of me serving businesses, it was like, oh, other PR, media, marketing professionals need to be served so that the industry itself even grows. And that's how PRocon developed.
So that started from the PR line. So that I did not know. So, okay, now we're in PRocon. And then let's talk about what you do with that business and like kind of how that whole experience kind of plays out. How the day kind of goes. I mean, we could talk about the prep, but I'm sure y'all, I'm sure they're prepping for next year already. So it's like very like last year ends, next day we prep for next year.
Absolutely. We give ourselves like 2 weeks break and like So sorry to our sponsorship director, Tiana, because she don't even get that. Because, like, you got to go back into sponsorships immediately, right? So I will say, in addition to, like, PRocon starting from TPRA, when I had TPRA, before I had PRocon, we were doing National Publicist Day mixers. So every year, shout out to Jordana Stevens, she created National Publicist Day on October 30th, and we would celebrate that. And so that was kind of our first way of, like, industry community and celebrating industry community, and then saying like, oh, but PRocon takes it a step further and not just celebrates us, it gives us community, it gives us access to resources, it gives us education, right? So it's that step, that layer up. But when it comes to like actually building PRocon, right? So the first couple of years, it was just kind of like myself and one other person. Shout out to Jessica Ticci. She was helping us in the beginning, kind of like project manage and all of those things. Sophia, she helped us with sponsorships and brand partnerships. And now we have evolved to a board of, I think, 12 at this point, of people who are literally mainly volunteers saying like, I am raising my hand to support this community in whatever way I can. So, of course, we have like directors of communications and partnerships and events and finance and all of those things, but they are in a volunteer capacity saying we are signing up for this. And so they make the planning process and the partnerships process and just the process of allowing me to assess the community needs while they assess the how do we get there, how do we do that portion of it. So it's been a beautiful experience. There's been so many pivots. I posted on social media that I've pulled out of my 401k twice to make it happen. So if anyone ever doubts if this is something that is a community effort, baby, okay, because I don't have to pull out my 401k. I want to pull out because I want to keep this going. And so, I mean, the planning process has been beautiful, but it's been tough. And there's been a lot of pivots, but I think year over year, we're growing and scaling because of the team that we're able to have behind us.
And let's speak of the growth, because I mean, I went to one.
Yeah.
And I've seen like, oh, PRocon in New Orleans for Essence Fest, or, you know, PRocon is doing X, Y, and Z, or PRocon is having all these other, like, you know, things. Like, when you, like you said, first spoke of that need that you know, that idea that came out of just looking at your community and assessing what need, and it's okay, maybe they need some sort of professional conference, right? Did you imagine it would be, well, you probably did, knowing you, but did you imagine it would be like this? Like, how, like, I'm sure you just feel so full every year that it grows. And then, like, the brand recognition and people knowing it and then supporting it. Like, how has that been?
It's been amazing. And what I will say is what I did imagine was, because, like, of course, as visionaries, because you're a visionary, right? You've built all these platforms. So as a visionary, you do have like this big picture thought.
So
it's like you imagine it, but the piece that you never quite understand is how you're going to get there. You always visualize it, but the steps to it is like always gray. You're like, I don't know, I'm going to get there somewhere. The steps to it is gray. For me, it's like I knew I was going to get there through, I would say, what I call human resources. So like people, right?
Oh,
like
well,
the human resources of this all, right? Because the financial resources ain't there, but the human resources are there. I knew I was going to be tapping into my human resources, my people that just, you know, are like, hey, I got a videographer. I'm like, can you just help me be on the ground? I knew I was going to do that.
Yeah.
But what I did not expect is like the level of people that were going to be like, I'm going to really attach myself to this mission and wear it on my back too.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, yes, I knew people were going to help, but there's a difference between help and I'm going to wear this on my back too. You know what I mean? And so I didn't expect that. I always expected it to be me pulling in my help and my support and kind of like wherever people could, they would. But people are literally championing this as if it's theirs. And like that to me is like the beauty of it all. Like it's the beauty of it all because it shows how much it was needed and necessary, and people feel this in their hearts too. So that's the part I didn't see. Yeah.
And then now it's like, not to give you any more stress, but like, what do you see for this year? Like, what do you see like happening? Is it going to be something new? Are we doing even bigger, even better? Like, what is your thought?
This thing is going to be crazy. So that's going to be another cut the camera thing. I'm going to tell you behind the scenes.
Thank you.
But it's going to be crazy. What I will say is you can expect that we are going to be very intentional in how and where we show up, and that we are making sure that everyone, regardless of where you are, has access to the PRocon community. That's what I will say. And then maybe when we get off camera,
ideas.
I'll do a drop for you that you can help announce what it really is. But that's what I'll say for now.
Okay. I mean, and I do love that. And I think it's like, it is Black History Month. Okay, so happy Black History Month. Let's talk about that.
Happy Black History Month.
Yesterday was the anniversary, the 7th anniversary. Don't judge me for anyone who happened to see a post. 7 years, everyone, of Tori Talk and all the different things that fall underneath of that umbrella. And February 1st, first day of Black History Month, intentional. Like, I went back and forth because my birthday's in March, and that's Women's History Month.
Absolutely.
So I always do a whole lot for that because it's like, that's very important to me. Black History Month, because I felt like if I'm going to start something for me, how amazing would it be to be celebrating a business as a Black business owner.
Absolutely.
During the month when we celebrate ourselves.
So you're saying you turned 7 on February 1st?
Yeah.
Wow. Congratulations. I mean, behind the scenes, you told me you turned 7, but I didn't realize on February 1st.
Yesterday.
Wow. Congratulations.
It's the anniversary. Thank you so much.
That's great. That's awesome.
So, again, as it is Black History Month, this is like, I always look at it like everything that we do now, we are making Black history in our own, moments every day in some small ways, some very large ways we might even think about. But everything that we do is going to make an impact. Yes. And like, as long as you're doing things with that in mind, like, even if you feel like this is not a global thing, it doesn't necessarily have to be. No. Like you say, a community. Yeah. And how that's going to impact the people that you can reach out and touch or you can talk to. Mm-hmm. So as a female Black business owner of multiple businesses, talk to people who are saying, hey, I'm really thinking about jumping out there, or I'm really trying to get more involved, and I want to hear from someone who's done something similar, even if it's a different field. Mm-hmm. And I look to Keisha and say, I think she's dope. I think that everything that she's done is amazing. But I want to know, like, what I need to do to be even half or a fourth of her. Like, what would you tell these people right now? Because I always say it's when you want to start something, just start. Yeah. So take it from me. You want to start Black History Month? It's a great month to start. Yeah.
I kind of agree with that sentiment. Like, it's the just start thing, but suit up and lace your boots up. Because this ain't it. What I find, you said, 7 years, right? What I find is the difference between someone who's able to go 7-year distance and someone who, after 7 months, is like, all right, enough, is the fact that we were like, we're going to suit up and lace our boots up. And what that means is we're prepared for the opposition that is going to inevitably come. Yeah. It is not a if challenges arise. It is not an if adversity comes. It is when it comes. And you can't always prepare for how it comes or when it comes, but you always have to mentally know that it is coming. Yeah. And so you have to kind of always mentally prepare for, like, I'm going to have hurdles and I'm going to have to push through them, no matter how big or small they are. And so I think that's the biggest thing I find, even in the field of communications, right? Everyone's like, I want to be in PR, and that's because they see me at the news stations and the nice events, and baby, that's once a quarter. When we sitting in there, most of the time to lead up to that event, our every day is looking like pitching and emails and phone calls and all of these things. And people are like, I don't know. Like, I don't know about that. Well, here's the thing. In order for you to get to the beauty of 7 years, you have to go through the mundane of the everyday. Yeah. And people are not even prepared for mundane, let alone opposition. Yeah. And so for me, it's like, if you're not going to mentally prepare yourself for opposition, then don't start it. Like, I'm just flat out, like, just don't start it. And that is okay. I don't believe everybody's meant to be a business owner. Yeah. Everybody is not meant to be that way. Some people are like, I need to hop on a train that's already moving, baby, because I'm not. And you got to know yourself. Yeah. You got to know yourself. And that doesn't mean that you're not strong. Yeah. That does not mean that, like, you are incapable. What that means is, like, that's just not for you. You like, baby, I want to add value to something that's already going. I don't want to build this train from the tracks up. I don't want to do it. And that's okay. Yeah. But if you do want to do it, you have to know, if you building something from the tracks up, there is going to be a lot of opposition. And I mean, that's my biggest thing. Because After that, I don't have to tell you nothing.
Yeah.
If you know that there's going to be opposition and you're already equipped to deal with the opposition, you can get through whatever industry that is. Because opposition looks like, dang, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I got to go figure that out. Dang, I bombed that interview. I got to go practice my talking points. And that's whatever industry. So I don't have to tell you about skill sets and all of that, because if you're built for opposition, you're going to do that. You're going to get through those things. So it's just being built for opposition.
I mean, I think that is so profound. I will definitely be like marking that. Mark. Mental note. Opposition, I think, is absolutely... I know, like, when you always talk about things with people and they're always like, well, you don't always want to talk about the bad things, but I think it's really not a bad thing. I think it's like sometimes it's like, you know, expectations and reality. And I think we all have expectations that are very high. And of course, you know, we want to get to whatever we want to be, like whatever our highest level of our, you know, career path is. But thinking that we're all going to all get there and never experience anything, I think is just unrealistic. And I for you as a person in PR, right? With the growth of social media, the growth of everybody having a phone, the growth of everybody can go on TikTok, the growth of everything that we can do, you know, on our own. How do you continue to say, yes, this is what I do in PR. This is why you need me. This is how I can pitch you. This is how I can build your brand. This is how and why you need my services. Because I think in some of our fields, everyone thinks that they can do everything on their own all the time. And then sometimes it works, but it doesn't work for everyone. And I feel like almost everyone thinks that they're a publicist all the time. So, like, how do you, you know, experience that from your actual standpoint of being a professional in that field?
I am going to be fighting for this until I'm old and gray. I think public relations is one of those fields that people really feel like sometimes like they can just do on their own.
Yeah.
And so I'm always fighting and advocating for what the true value of having a public relations professional is. And that's not to say that there aren't components and tactics of public relations that people can do on their own, because they can. Yeah. I learned it, and someone else can learn these tactics as well. The hard part is when you're a business owner trying to focus on the growth of your business, focusing on the visibility of your business alongside of that is overwhelming. It just is. It's just hard. Yeah. I mean, even for our business, like, we are a PR agency, and I'm like, who finna help? But we need some visibility around here. And we are the visibility. Yeah. It is hard. And so I think it's not... What I've framed and understood that our value is, it's not that someone else can't do it. It's just that you shouldn't.
Yeah.
You should focus on the, you know how they say, like, you know, you should work on your business and not in your business. Allow those service providers to work in your business so you can work on the other side of the growth and development, the creative ideas. Because what happens is when you are focused on or trying to focus on creative ideas and visibility and all of that, your creativity goes out the window. Yeah. We need you as much as you need us. We need you to continue to be creative in order for us to even have a story to tell. Yeah. So if you can focus on creativity and we can focus on visibility, the pair is just powerful, right? Yeah. And I think I will say it's absolutely a financial privilege to be able to hire public relations. It's not cheap, right? Yeah. And so I will say, you know, there are things that you can DIY, and I would recommend people to call a marketer, call a publicist, you know, call those folks to be able to get advice and maybe say, like, I don't have the monthly retainer, but I do need someone to give me some strategy. That's also possible. But I do think you need that strategic mindset, because even though people are like, I can go research a media outlet and find the email address and send them an email, then it becomes, then what's your strategy after that? So you got the one media hit, and then what? And then what happens after that? What we're good for is being able to show consistency through our strategy. And I think everyone needs somebody like that on their side. So it's not that you can't do it. I think you just shouldn't, so that you can focus on the other creative spaces in your business.
And it's relationship building too. Yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of times, like, opportunities that you all can bring to whoever you're working for, it's like, this is all you do all day. Like, this is your main focus. So, hey, I have clients that I've sent to this, you know, publication or outlet, whatever, before, and they see when they're working with me the quality and the interesting businesses and the interesting personalities and all these different things that I can bring to them, and they love to, you know, kind of have repeat of that.
The funny thing is like, we're in an industry people question so much where they're like, I could do it by myself. And I'm like, you could do a lot of things by yourself. I could trim my edges by myself. I prefer not because I'm so sure that this hairstylist will know better what cut and what angle and mine might look a little lopsided. It's not that I can't do it, but it's going to take me so much more effort to get it right than to go to someone who does this day in, day out, has the training, and I can go through all of this like I'm going to do it myself, but it's going to take a long time for me to actually get it to the level that they can. And here's the thing that we feel like we don't have in business. We like, I ain't got all these times to fail so many times. Now, that we do have to fail on certain things, but do you want to fail in visibility so much when you can call somebody else, fail in other things that actually only you can do, right? And so fail, if you are, you are the only Tori of Tori Talk. Go fail in that while I go fail right? Because you have to show up as the face of that. Nobody else can show up for you in Tori Talk.
It is quite difficult.
Yeah.
Name something after yourself.
Okay. And so like
keep that in mind.
If
you want to do something, maybe don't name that.
So you can focus on that and being that creative and coming up with your questions and all that type of stuff. Why then go and be like, I'm going to have to focus on all this other stuff, right? Like finances. I mean, all of this is included. Public relations is no different than anything else that you're like, I need an expert because I'm going to fail at this 500 times before I even figure out how to do this right. So it is what it is.
I mean, that was some free advice. So y'all welcome. Yeah, you would have had to normally call for consultations and stuff for that.
Okay, period.
And it's so, and I appreciate it, and I really appreciate you, being so candid and speaking on so many different topics today. Is there anything else that's coming in 2026? Anything else that's just happening with you personally? Any advice that you want anyone to take away from what we talked about today, and just from you in general?
Yeah, I would say, well, when it comes to things that are coming up, PRocon 2026. It's not like what you think. It's not. We're going to be announcing this very, very soon. But whatever you think, I feel like I said that last year. Like whatever you think, but you know how you keep telling people that and they like, child, you said that last year.
But it's true.
Last year was definitely different because we were at Howard University. We were at the Mecca. It was a thing. However, this year, erase everything that you've known about PRocon, and it's totally something different. So I'm excited to release that. Yes. Also, what would I say? If there's like advice that I could give someone, I would say be okay with adjusting the strategy. What I mean by that is like, okay, you thought you were going to be at that job for 10, 15 plus years to come. Be okay with that's not the reality and adjusting the strategy. You thought that, what you built was the right idea and you're coming to realize it's not working. Be okay with adjusting the strategy. I think life is nothing but an ongoing adjustment of the strategy, and adjusting the strategy does not mean adjusting the vision. It's just adjusting how you get there, and that's okay. And sometimes it is adjusting the vision. Sometimes it's like, wait a minute, I thought I had a vision of this, but when I really think about my purpose and what I want to do and how I want to serve, I got to adjust that a bit. But even if that vision stays the same, you can have a different strategy to get there. So I think that a lot of times when we get down on ourselves, it's because we realize we have to adjust the strategy, and people feel uncomfortable in doing that, rightfully so. But once you realize that adjusting the strategy means that you can also have the opportunity to come out better, you lean into it more than you lean away from it. So, and I also want to say for those who have not found a job yet, stay in there. Stay in the game. And in the meantime, like we said, find the opportunity here. Even if the opportunity is just, dang, I done emailed so many people in the last year. That is an opportunity as well. Those people are new people you have found, you have researched, so that when you do get that job, you can still build a relationship with those folks, right? Just look at the opportunity and everything. And I think that'll help you keep going.
Amazing. Thank you
thank
so
you.
much.
This was beautiful. And I am honored to be here. Literally, what, a day? Are we on February 2nd? What day we on?
Yes,
a day after your 7-year anniversary. So congratulations to you. Congratulations to your engagement. All of the things. So I'm really proud of you. And I think this was a great way to kick off Black History Month.
Thank you so much. Please let everyone know if they aren't already, and they should be. But if they aren't already, where they can follow you in all your different business ventures.
Yes, if you go to I Am Keisha Bradley, it'll connect you to everything else. So I Am Keisha Bradley on all social media platforms, and you'll find the PR Alliance, and you'll also find PRocon.
Amazing. And until next time, happy Black History Month.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming.
Absolutely.
And I can't wait to chat with you all soon. Bye-bye.